Good afternoon, watchers. Scott at SE Landscaping. We are into April and it's been a really dry week this week, so for first cuts we've got loads done, which is a bonus. The last couple of weeks of March we were just, well, I keep saying the royal we, me, did a few jobs, just tidying sites up, making it easier. So did this little job here on a job. That was just cutting back, because in that site there, when I'm cutting the grass or strimming, you've got the brambles and everything coming through from the neighbouring land. So spoke to the neighbours, asked if I could go in and trim everything back. They said it was okay, so I went in, cut a couple of areas and just dropped it. Another area I cut and then I ran over it with my Grillo just to tidy it up. But it'll just make it probably 2 to 3 years, because I've cut it back about 1.5 meters. It'll make it 2 or 3 years. I won't have to endure brambles and keep cutting things off and spraying weeds through the hedge and things, which is good. So that was a bonus. And then sort of on to first cuts. So these are a few little jobs that we've been doing. And considering it's been a warm winter with very few snow showers and frosts and everything, the grass has still grown a lot. So these areas have come up quite well, considering. I was quite surprised, because sometimes you go into April and you're cutting the grass for the first time and you could be baling it. Other times I've had to cut the grass and I've had to cut it again a week later, just because it's been that messy. And there's nothing worse than leaving a messy job. Yes, from time to time you've got no choice, but on this occasion everything's come up quite well. So we're on a winner there with that one. This morning I've done a little bit of work. As people know, I look after a bowling green, but I don't look after it in the sense that we maintain it like a bowling green. All I get paid for is a bit of cutting and scarifying. But what I did a couple of weeks ago, I put this product on. It's an all-round weed feed and everything else. And then I went back today, this morning, and spent 3 hours. I double cut the area, so it takes, with the Alert 24-inch, it takes about 35 minutes to cut a bowling green if you're going at it. So cut in 2 directions this morning. That was the first cut, so got a good bit of grass off it. It was a bit frosty, but don't shoot me. So we got that done, and then I dropped on with the Camon Scarifier just in one direction, because I scarified it last year. There's not a huge amount of moss in it. So we got the moss out, and then we went over it with a BI 800 here. 1,600 square meters of cutting and scarifying done, and it is not even 10 o'clock. On fire today. And that took 1,600 square meters, took about 35-40 minutes to blow, and then pile into a wheelbarrow, and I got 7 wheelbarrows off the area, and we can lose it on the compost heap on site. So all in all, it's been a few hours. Like I say, I've chuck a bit of fertilizer on, I chuck a bit of weed and feed on, I selective it throughout the year, and it's all just extra bits that I do, because it's just nice when you maintain something that it looks a bit better than just a crappy bit of grass, so if I can get rid of the weeds and it looks a bit greener rather than sort of yellow off lack of nutrients when you cut the grass short. I'm by no means a turf care specialist. As I say, I don't market bowling greens. If I did, I'd bring in a specialist. You've got people on here like Curtis, Dave, the Lawn Guy, Premier Lawns, Robbie. They're specialists. You've got a lot of other people who are trying to sort of make a business out of it without having a clue about it, but you get that with any trade, I suppose. So that's what we've been up to with that. And as well as that, last week we fit in a show at one of our local dealers, and there was various brands there. There was Still, which came with a goodie bag. There was Furus, Kramer. I had a good chat with a guy from WeBang, and I've never been a WeBang fan, but heard a couple of good things about the big, is it 36 inch or something? Is it 36 inch more? I've heard a good couple of things about that, so that's potentially just someone just cutting me up. That's potentially something that I might be interested in for some of my bigger areas that might mulch better than my little mulch faster than my little Still RM 545 RTP, some whatever. So yeah, I might grab one of them. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. We'll get a demo out and see how it goes. A couple of other things that were there. Ventrac were there. Massey Ferguson. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of other brands anyway. I kind of think, but it was a decent day. Here's a little video there anyway. And I actually went along with a friend of mine, another landscaper. Well, the ground care specialist. He classes himself as this guy here. That was the raffle ticket book we stole. We still didn't win the raffle, even though we had all the tickets. So happy days. There was free food on, but it was subsidised. It was £3.50 subsidy. So I fancied a burger. I fancied a burger with onions and mushrooms. However, I could only have the onions or the mushrooms because it pushed me over the £3.50 to £4. So it was like, which one do you go for? So I opted for the onions. And I some feedback for the person who runs the show. I just said you could just do with upping that free food ticket in 2 years' time when they have the event again. Maybe £8 or £9 would be better, and you can get a drink as well. So that's where we are. Met a few subscribers on the day. Stuart Redman and one or two other people were there. So we had a bit chat while we were eating. Talked about the trade, as you do, the moans and groans of the goods and bads of the trade and how everyone's doing. And yeah, it was a decent afternoon out. I did approach the subject of Furus with Furus, and basically I explained that I can buy parts from abroad and everything like that, and I can buy them dirt cheap and they're the same parts. What it is, because they're in a contract, they're tied to buying parts on a certain way. So yeah, they could buy the parts the same way I'm buying the parts, quicker and faster and cheaper, but they're tied to buying parts the same way. I did say, so if I get the parts to my local dealer, can they fit them? But they wouldn't be warranted because they're not their parts. So what it would mean is, if I can save £500 going somewhere else, going to a little backstreet moorman, I could potentially save money by getting the parts off the internet once I know what it needs and going somewhere like that rather than the main dealer, which sounds mad, but we're all in it to save money. We also approach the value of parts and everything, and the local Furus representative is going to go back, and when they have the talks, he's going to explain that obviously that people are thinking that the parts are way over budget now that I've sort of explained how much I can buy parts for and how much they're selling parts for. Are their markups too high? So hopefully that'll go back and they'll discuss it. They might not, but you can only put things out there and hope people do, and go from there with it. So I know WeBang, people have said before, WeBang for years and years was shit. Basically the mowers were shit, but they do listen to people, and when it needs replacing, they get parts and they put new parts on and they work on new parts, and people are saying that they are really good mowers now. So that could be right. If that's the case, then it means that they are listening to people, which is a bonus, and that's what you want. You want your dealers to listen to you, and to know that you get somewhere if you actually talk to someone. Toro and Hater are a good one. If you mention things, they are always working on things, and they've come on a lot the last few years. They had a down spell, but they're bouncing back and they turned into a good company again with good products. So that's been my, as I say, that's been my last couple of weeks, but now we're into full floor grass cutting and stuff, and I'm trying to break it up. I'm trying to do half a day's grass cutting, a little bit of strimming, then a little bit of gardening, just so that you're doing a little bit of everything in the same day, because like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of just grass cutting all day. It's not what I want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. It is Friday afternoon and I am just driving back to the yard, and another week down. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.